What's good, guys? So today we're watching how a nuclear war will start, and it's kind of reasonable. I mean, you can already know how it's gonna start. Russia and USA, or China, USA. One of those two countries with nukes are gonna start this big war. But hopefully we're not here for it, and if we are, just die peacefully, okay? And yeah, let's watch.
Mr. President, nuclear missiles will strike our country in 14 minutes. I know it's your first day in office, so I'm going to walk you through it, but you're the only one who can authorize our nuclear retaliation in response, and you've only got a few minutes to make a decision. As you know, tensions have escalated rapidly in the past few days. Today's Joint Allied Aerial Defense exercise began just minutes before we detected the launch. A simple misunderstanding, maybe. We assume the sudden attack is meant to neutralize as many of our nuclear forces as possible. But that doesn't matter now. Missiles are in the air, and we can't shoot all of them down. Why? Because intercontinental ballistic missiles are basically rockets launched into space before re-entering the atmosphere over their target and releasing many different warheads. Higher and faster than anything you can send after them. We need to get you to the bunker.
Bruh. You're telling me the president survives? I mean, okay, it kind of makes sense because he leads the war, but bruh, the rest of us, we die. Damn it. I mean, he's gonna die soon too, or he's probably too old too.
Here's what we know. 4 minutes ago, our new infrared monitoring satellites detected 112 bursts consistent with ICBM launches from the enemy's inner territories. For some reason, only 20 of their 80 underground nuclear silos seem to have fired, so we suspect most of them were transporter erector launchers. You know, trucks with big missiles on them. It's unclear why they didn't use all their silos. They might just not work after more than 30 years, or they might be keeping them in reserve. The fog of war is keeping many things unclear. Aerospace Command thinks the ICBMs are targeting our nuclear command centers, silos, and major Air Force and Navy bases, ending this war before we have a chance to act. The enemy's strategic doctrine prioritizes military targets and our nuclear weapon systems, but their secondary targets...
Wait, but how would they know this if a spy didn't give them this information? Because, yeah, a spy gave him this, because we don't, I mean... I'm sure every country has a rough idea where all the nuclear stuff is kept, but it's not exact information. So it's got to be a snitch that told, an informant that brought this information to these countries. It's got to be, because, bro, it's crazy. In the government, there's probably some guy doing that right now. Damn.
All right, industry and infrastructure, all refineries, power stations, and deep water ports. All located near or in major population centers.
Or a spy that came to
casualty
check.
count for a few weeks. Deaths from the blast and burns may be a few million today. It's morning rush hour, and there's not much to be done for people stuck in traffic. People in major metro areas can't really evacuate, but emergency broadcasts are being sent out to shelter in place and away from windows. Radiation exposure from population centers is highly dependent on the weather over the next week. We might be looking at dozens of millions of deaths by the end of the month. For the next few minutes, we can still respond. But you need to decide. We've got 1,500 warheads across our silos, bombers and submarines. The 400 in silos need to be launched now before they get taken out. 46 nuclear-capable bombers on high alert can be ready to take off in 2 minutes, though we need to transmit to get them out of the blast radius if you want to consider using them. Of our 40 nuclear submarines, 5 are presently at sea. While they're submerged, they're undetectable, so that's our backup for a nuclear retaliation if we lose our silos and bombers. We could try to use them to bomb out their remaining silo fields before they can launch them. The sooner you commit to it, the better the chance we have of preventing a further exchange after our retaliation.
Mr. President is so slow. Act already.
We have radar confirmation that the enemy ICBMs have completed their burn and deployed their warheads. Our best guess is that each missile will deploy at least 6 re-entry vehicles, about 600 in total, which is the part that carries a warhead back into the atmosphere during its terminal descent onto the target, and with many more...
What the hell? You know, I've always wondered if you're gonna make something this destructive, like a nuclear bomb, why not invest in defense? Like, you know someone's gonna fire this thing at you one day. Why just sit there making more of them when you can try to defend it at least? Shooting it down, cool, but you can't track it, you can't hit it, so that's useless. Just make some huge iron dome that can't be penetrated by this. Man, it sounds easy to think about, and trust me, I wish you could just boom. Because I know there's some sort of material out there that a nuclear bomb can't penetrate through. Or at least these little warheads. Ah, oh, come on, what is it? Is my idea valid? Come on, somebody elaborate with me in the comments.
Inflatable balloons meant to waste any anti-missiles. We're now tracking nearly 4,000 potential targets.
What?
Our anti-ballistic missiles have been launched and will begin their intercept in another minute. We'll do our best to protect the capital, although there really is no defense. Wait, confirming a partial radar blackout. Our systems seem to be glitchy. The enemy must have anticipated we'd launch our interceptors and pre-detonated a few warheads at high altitude. That ionizes the atmosphere and creates radar interference. Our interceptors should still operate okay. They've had a 55% success rate in tests, but never with this many decoys or with radar interference this intense. We might shoot down 50 objects, but there's no guarantee they're warheads. It looks like most bombs are going to get through. This is our last chance to counterattack. We're out of time. Our silo launch sequence takes 5 minutes. We have to transmit and confirm a launch order, and the missile needs time to clear the blast radius of the incoming bomb. This is a lot to take in, but the war plan is made. You just need to enter the launch authorization codes and push this button to transmit them.
What if he forgets it?
You can't do anything else to save more of our people. If you don't launch now, then this war will be over before it even begins.
Bro, this guy is pissing me off, this president. Like, hit the button already, man. All you had to tell me was someone's launching nukes at us. Please tap the button. I'm gonna tap it. Why? What do you? There's not much to think about, bro. If someone fired, they want us dead. So fire back, bro. Oh, this guy's bad with revenge, man. Like, put me as the president.
This is our one chance, right?
One, right?
The effect. Enemy civilian casualties are hard to estimate, but
we don't care about them.
A few million right away, perhaps a few tens of million by the end of the month. The total fallout from their attacks and ours might trigger a nuclear winter, potentially killing billions around the world, but that might happen even if we don't retaliate. I'm sure you have questions, but you have to give orders without expecting answers right now.
Tap.
An attack of this scale, there's no guarantee communications or assets will be intact in a few minutes. We're out of time. We need a decision, sir.
Tap the button. Oh my goodness, this guy's pissing me off.
Launch.
Yes.
Nuclear wars aren't regular wars. They only last minutes, and in times of crisis, small conflicts can rapidly spiral out of control. Anything from small communication lags to sensor errors to just uncertainty in the fog of war mean that no leader will ever have a complete idea of what's happening as a crisis unfolds. When tensions are high, accidents or misunderstandings can steer leaders, even those with good intentions, to launch a nuclear attack. Confused and with incomplete information, a single person, yes, it's really just one single person who decides, can literally make civilization-ending decisions, killing hundreds of millions of people in the time it takes to watch a YouTube video.
But they started it. If they started it, we're firing back. I don't care about the ethics. That's out of the way. Our people are about to die. They started that. Like, why would I be nice? They want us dead. They fired, what, 4,000 warheads? And you think we're going to be like, maybe it was an accident. They didn't mean it. An accident that fired 4,000 warheads. Yeah, bro, save that for another day. Hit that red button right now. At least I'm at the bottom of the bunkers. I'm alive. I'm going to make sure their country also disappears on the map. You know, it is what it is, man. You make nuclear bombs, make a way to, I don't know. You're stuck with the effects. If they hit your people like that, you gotta get it back in blood. Hit something back. I'm surprised the Japanese people didn't shoot one back in America, but I guess they didn't have them back then. Sucks for them, man. And the effects, man. These nuclear bombs are not it. I read on the effects and it's not my cup of tea.
This story is fiction, but the world came very close to this several times. In 1995, Russian radar detected a submarine-launched missile, and their nuclear forces went on full alert, except it was actually a scientific rocket to study auroras. In 1979, US computers reported a full-scale Soviet attack with only minutes to respond, except it was a training tape being incorrectly loaded into a computer. In 1983, the Soviet satellite alert system showed 5 ICBMs launched from the US, but it was a false alarm caused by sunlight reflected on clouds. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, a Soviet submarine with no contact to Moscow for several days concluded that nuclear war had begun and decided to launch a nuclear torpedo. Luckily, the authorization of 3 officers was required. One of them, Vasily Arshipov, opposed it. But what if he hadn't? Any safeguard can fail, no matter how carefully designed it might be.
That's crazy though. I guess that's pretty
to build
logical.
new weapons and missile systems that commit the world to another century of nuclear stalemate, complicated further by China's emergence as a new nuclear superpower. Simply accepting that the existence of nuclear weapons is inevitable might mean their use is inevitable. But the world doesn't have to be this way. Even incremental steps, taking apart one bomb at a time, will eventually result in a world with none. During the Cold War, the world...
Are you telling me someone's gonna give up their nukes? Bro, look at America, bro. No, they're never giving up their nukes. It's literally, it's like, it's a power thing. No one wants to give them up. You think if I give them up, I'm gonna be looked at as strong? No. Like, sure, if America gave up its nukes, it'd probably still be #1 in the world for a little bit, because you know, if they're not using that American bill anymore, and you don't have enough power to force them into doing what you want, you think things are gonna go your way? No, it'd be the fall of America. It's like the fall of the British Empire. No more people to listen to them because what? Not enough power to control all of them. So boom. So yeah, these guys are never leaving nukes alone, bro. Until like the whole planet disappears. That's how nukes are gonna disappear
had
too.
over 70,000 nuclear weapons. Through arms
Sheesh.
reduction treaties, that number is now about 12,500. Progress is not guaranteed, but it's also not impossible. Governments and militaries are not separate from their nations, they're part of them, just like you. You have the power to make demands of your leaders, and often this begins with just being aware of an issue. If you want to learn more, we've compiled a number of resources for you in the video description and our sources. Did you know that there are countless more Kurzgesagt videos that we upload?
But yeah, that's pretty scary, yo. I don't want to take part in a nuclear bomb.